Well, we got 4.5 inches of rain this morning in about 3 hours. 4.5. I'm telling you what, it came up a storm. So I was asked the other day about my cages. These are Earthbox cages, but this would work on wicking tubs, probably just about any kind of container. It'd even work in raised beds also. But let me show you what I've done here to cage my tomatoes, my peppers, and I've got some yard-long beans here growing up this cage. Let me show you how I did it on this garden with minimal punctures through this landscape cloth. That was my biggest problem with this, was trying to figure out how to do this and not just fill this thing full of holes. Because every time you punch a hole in these landscape cloths, you're itching for a breach of weeds coming up and things like that. So I didn't want to do that. So I didn't want to use T-post, because T-post is going to make a bigger hole. So I came in here. I've used these tomato cages for a long time, years and years. I mean, these are 20 years old probably. And I found last year that using these tomato cages with rebar, we had a tornado last year, came through, knocked down that whole fence line right there, was full of trees. Knocked down that whole fence line full of trees, and my tomatoes were safe. I just couldn't believe that it didn't knock the tomatoes over. So I know it works. I know it works well. Now, I had these cages sitting on the ground last year. They weren't this tall. Right now they're above my head. They're over 6 feet tall because they're sitting on top of the Earthbox instead of sitting on the ground. The reason I did that, because you have these little, on this concrete reinforcement wire, you have these little spikes, little places, little tag ends, and those would punch holes in this landscape cloth. I did not want to do that. I wanted to set these on top of the Earthboxes. So that's what I did. Put these 3/8 rebar down in the ground. I've got them cable tied, tie wrapped to it. But I just wanted to show you how I did these. And again, this would work on wicking tubs or any kind of containers. You just wrap the container, and if you're in wicking tubs, you would just wrap, and I've done it before, just have a circle, just like a regular tomato cage, a circle tomato cage, and I would put a 3/8 inch rebar down in the wicking tub. Now, I didn't go down so far. I was careful not to hit one of the corrugated pipes in there, if you're familiar with a wicking tub. Didn't want to hit that, didn't want to damage those. So, but they held fine. I put 2 in each of these wicking tubs, had a circle tomato cage that was 5 feet tall and had some huge tomatoes in it, some big Halcinator and red snappers, and they filled those up because I had 2 in each one of these wicking tubs. Right now I've got watermelon, as you can see. I've got squash and zucchini, and need to pick me some zucchini. That's getting big. But I want to show you these. They just one hole, 2 holes per Earthbox, punched in the landscape cloth down into the ground, about a foot, probably about a foot. As you can see, I got stuff growing up here. That is some nice cucumbers, and these tomato cages on these Earthboxes have held up. I mean, really, really nice, really good. Because this one is loaded down with some. We had a bunch of people out here picking yesterday, and we missed a couple of these. But they're not, they'll rock a little bit, but they're stable. Getting peppers already. I had somebody, I promised him last week that I would show the how I cage in these Earthboxes. As you can see, with that storm we had this morning, it was rocking and rolling. I'm telling you, I got up at 5, and I don't normally get up at 5, but I got up at 5 because I got one of the warnings on the phone about a tornado warning, and so I want to get up and watch. and shoot, it was something. We had high winds, lots and lots and lots of rain. And this is why I container garden. I'm on a slope. If we get a lot of rain and I've got plowed up dirt, tilled up dirt, it just washes it. And I don't have to worry. I was not, you know, in the back of your mind, you're wondering if their cages are gonna hold up, whatever, and they do, and they did. But I wasn't worried at all about flooding my garden. Not this garden anyway. Now I've got some peas over there that I planted that I'm just gonna have to plow up. They didn't make it because they just got flooded. And my corn back in the back, those are raised beds corn. Corn is doing real well, looking real good. Fertilized it yesterday in anticipation of this rain. So it's really looking nice. And I just wanted to show you this, tell you, show you the garden, show you after all that rain, that the garden is pristine. The garden is, I come out here with a blower. If I'm really concerned about what it looks like, I'll come out here with a leaf blower and just blow all the wood chips and stuff off of it that I've put on the top here for mulch. And you're done. That's how you clean your garden. And if you want to weed a garden, let me find a weed. There's one. If you want to weed a garden, you just come in here and just pull it up. And I can either lay it on the side, lay it on the floor here, let the wind blow it off, or throw it off to the side. But you know, just a few weeds, that's all it is. But the cages are what I want to show you. And what this is 10 squares. These cages are made out of 10 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares of concrete reinforcement wire. Concrete reinforcement wire, I believe, is 5 foot even. It's got 6-inch squares, so if you're reaching in for a tomato, plenty of room to reach in these 6-inch squares to get what you need. Even the biggest tomato come out of there. So that's why I like it. Again, these are 20 years old probably. But this year I came in here and I made some out of some real high tensile wire, which is really, it's almost as thick as this stuff here, except it's galvanized. I just made some little things here with a hook on them, and I'll come in here and keep the tomatoes from falling forward. I put this little stay in here just to hold them up. As the tomato grows up, I'll come in here, and that's the reason I made a hook on it. Whether you can see that or not, I think you can. When the tomato gets a little taller, I'll move the hook up to the next one. You know, because to raise it up, to keep the tomatoes from falling forward. It's worked. I've always done it with string, but I thought, you know, there ought to be something that I could do that would be permanent, that I could use every year instead of restringing every year and cutting the strings off these things and all that. And that has worked. Again, huge winds this morning, and it worked great. The tomatoes don't seem to mind it at all. That is a Halcinator, and I'm telling you what, it is full of tomatoes. I need to raise this one up, actually. If I had 2 hands, I would, because it's starting to lean this way because it's getting so dang heavy. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. I've done the peppers the exact same way. This is a banana just loaded with peppers. And we picked yesterday. I mean, we picked a bunch of stuff yesterday. Got a little sun scald on that bell. But I started to come in here because these are climbing beans, those yard-long beans. Now I really need to come in here and put some strings across this just to give it something to attach to here on the front. It's climbing on the back. I don't have a problem with that, but these ones in the front are going to have to take a left or a right or something like that, and unless I string it up a little bit. So I hadn't decided. I probably will, just to give it a little bit better, little better place to get a handhold. But they're going to get up big, and they're going to grow, and everything is just looking so well. My corn, I tied it up. I showed you that last week, tying up the corn so it wouldn't fall over. I looked this morning, and it was blown this way, and then the wind blew back the other way. And but it's standing up pretty doggone straight. I'm really pleased with the corn, what it looks like. I didn't lose anything. I had one stalk. I went by there this morning, in the golf cart, and this is really mushy, too mushy to walk in. And I had one stalk that had broken. The stalk itself had broken. And I didn't go in there and tie that next strand. I should have. I knew well, I just didn't think this was coming. They weren't predicting 4.5, 5 inches of rain and storms like that. So kind of threw me off guard. Them weather people, you know how they are. They do the best they can. This is why I garden in containers. 4.5 inches of rain. Nothing flooded. Nothing fell. The way it produces, you know, there may be, it might produce better if it was in the dirt. I don't know. I've always been pleased with the production I get out of earth boxes or wicking tubs or any other containers I do, or these raised beds. These are the Vajayga raised bed. Would you look at that? Look at that thing. I mean, that thing is bigger than a softball. This one's kind of split, kind of a double one, and it's bigger than that one. That's softball size. All of them, yeah, maybe 30 or 40 onions in this raised bed. And then I've got all this chard here. This is Swiss or rainbow chard. We came through here and picked the dog out of that yesterday too. Red sorrel in the middle here. And I put sorrel down the middle, chard all the way around the edges. But let's go. You can see where we came through and cut it, and it's going to come back. I think chard lasts 2 years. I believe it's a biannual. But anyway, mainly I want to show you the tomato cages because I had a request of that. In fact, more than one request, and just show you what I'm doing, and you know, try to help you to figure out what to do with yours. That's one of those hooks that I've got. I made some extras. And just basically, like I say, you come in here and just hook it. And the cage, I made it short enough to where when I pull it, it'll be under tension, and it'll pull that cage in and just give some stability to the cage also. So I like these. High tensile. That's not electric fence wire. That's high tensile wire. Very hard to bend, hard to cut. That's the good stuff there. I bought a roll of that many years ago, and I'll never use it all up probably. But I want to show you this. I got some, you know, some issues with the cukes, and they're starting to get maybe a little powdery mildew, or probably getting some from damage from either squash bugs or squash vine borers. I saw a squash vine borer mama flying through the other day, so I'm sure she's laid some eggs. And I don't know, that's probably powdery mildew, or maybe that's just how those leaves look. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like powdery mildew. It looks just like a discoloration. But anyway, but I do have some, obviously got some squash bugs because there's the eggs of them. Want to show you, this is the back side looking toward the front of it, and again, I'm real happy with the way it looks. I just really am. And I'm happy with the way it's producing. I mean, I should be getting watermelon. I got to train these to stay on the black, but I ought to be getting a ton of watermelons off those three wicking tubs there. But there it is. It's looking good, and it's producing, and I don't have to worry about it flooding out. That's why I garden in containers. So I just thought I'd show you that. Thought I'd show you the cages also, and I think that's it, man. We really had a storm, but we got over it. The Lord was good. He's kind. He gave us his favor. Appreciate it for that. All right, I think we're gone.